Well, guys, episode 5 of Machinima's Mortal Kombat Legacy is out, and, yeah, if you hear something falling out of the sky very quickly, that is my hopes for this series that you're hearing. Because it's plummeting with this episode. I was getting nervous last episode, I expressed that, and, man, literally everything I had a problem with last episode is here again. Once again, literally half the episode is really poorly done animation. Very cheap, jagged movement animation. It's horrible. It's how they do most of the expression. Although I will give the animators some credit. The animators at least have a better idea of what the characters are supposed to look like than the actual costume people. I still can't get over that. They still have fucking Shao Kahn sitting around, not wearing the fucking skull helmet, his defining feature, or even the rest of his armor doesn't look anything like it's supposed to. I already showed that last time. But still, it's ridiculous that they can't get these costumes anyway remotely right. I mean, with the first couple, it's Johnny Cage. You know, Johnny Cage can wear a suit, or he can just... That's fine. Sony, they kind of got that stuff right. It looked okay for an update, but this stuff, it's just bad. I mean, really bad. And yeah, they had the Shao Kahn problem again. That is true. That's a holdover from the last episode. It's still a problem. It's still a problem, though. But now with Kitana and Melina, who we really didn't get to see anything of last time anyway, one, they're not wearing the face veils, or whatever you want to call that thing that they always put in front of their face, which is kind of their defining feature for first. And the reason I bring that up especially is because the animators are like, yeah, that's kind of their defining feature for our costumes, other than this being blue. Blue, bland costumes. I mean, here's the thing. It's not like Mortal Kombat costuming is that hard to pull off. I mean, let's face it, Melina and Kitana's costumes are almost glorified swimsuits, for crying out loud. You could put them in one-piece swimsuits and say, that's the costume, give them a little face mask, and boom, you're good-ish. You know, that's literally all you need to match up to the video game. And if you saw the promos for Mortal Kombat 9, they actually did a very realistic Melina outfit straight from the game. That was one of those outfits you would think would be impossible to actually wear in real life, but if somehow they actually did it. I don't know how. But it goes to my point. I mean, in this one, they're sitting around, they don't wear the masks. They put like little tiny scar things on Melina. Way to ruin the effect. Way to ruin like the suspension, like there's something messed up. I mean, seriously, all they had to do was put a little face veil thing over her mouth. And at least we as the audience would probably be thinking, oh man, her face is messed up underneath that thing. They didn't have to show us it. It would have been cheaper than stenciling on like the little face scars they tried to put on her. And it's basically, as I said before, it's her defining look in addition to the pink color. Kitana, again, she's just kind of there, bland. Her outfit's very extremely bland with this I can't even describe it. It really does look like if the costume designer from the Sci-Fi Channel movies have come over and designed the costumes. And basically took, wow, this is a really great costume. Looks like it's even affordable to do with even my cheap-ass effects. I'm going to throw it out the window. We'll just keep the costume blue. It's horrible. And again, it's another exposition-heavy one, which is something you do not need in this episode. Or for this series, really. You don't need to be heavy exposition. Especially when you're literally, again, narrating the basic plot or the basic stuff laid out from the games. You know, they're going over, hey, Melina and Kitana don't like each other, but they trained as assassins for Shao Kahn for many years. Yeah, we know that. We're fans of the game. You know, at least with the Johnny Cage episode, they were showing Johnny kind of trying. They were at least doing some new stuff with Johnny, too. but also like showing him doing his movie things, or in this case like TV promos, and it was interesting. And at least they were poking fun at actual stuff, like actual television series. Uh, and at least with the Jack, Sonya, and Kano things, they weren't telling us the backstory. They were showing us the backstory. We were watching Sonya and Kano and Jax all hunting each other, trying to put each other in traps, shootouts. Shit was going down. Unlike this episode. Oh, and by the way, I love how Outworld basically looks like British Columbia or Vancouver or anywhere, basically Canada. You're gonna green screen everything else, but no, we're gonna keep this very bland looking pine forest background as Outworld, the one place that's supposed to be like a post-apocalyptic wasteland type setting. I mean, literally, you could have just had like dark mountains if you were just gonna put a fucking green screen up, which it does look like they did a green screen. Again, this is probably on a slightly shorter side review. If I'll try to give some positive. What little of the fight scenes we did see of those of Katana and Melina fighting, it was okay. There was like one short little fight. That was it. You know, the thing we want to see. Oh, and I love this at the end of the. Oh, actually, wait a minute. I'm gonna backtrack here. I so wish I had better editing software. I would insert this earlier on. They have a guy that plays King Jared, Katana's biological father. Again, we haven't seen much of Sindel, because she just killed herself very quickly, not even getting into that, because that is, well, it's part of the plot, but the way they handled it was crap. But they bring this guy back, and the beard they put on him, it literally looks like something you'd pick up out of a Spencer's. I mean, you can this thing was so obviously just glued on. They basically make him older, and so they give him, they gray his hair, they throw a gray wig on, and they give him this gray beard, where he's going basically for the Santa Claus look, and it looks so bad. Like, seriously, I think you could probably get away with him just looking the same as he was before. You probably didn't even need the beard, but alas. Yeah, but they give him a scene, and then they go, and she went to the one place where she would find answers, and that's implied to be her old, after her father dies, it's implied to be her old castle, which they show to be abandoned, and somehow this gives her the answers. Because I know completely abandoned buildings with almost nothing left in them, great source for information. Seriously, they could have showed her talking to like just a guy that happened to have like a script, and we went, she now read the real history, and she knows. Instead, and by the way, she went back to that place in animation. So yeah, they could have put anything they wanted in there. They could have showed her going over the scripts and just like animating her, seeing a scroll with obviously a picture of her father being, her father's army being beaten by Shao Kahn. Like somebody recorded that, but Shao Kahn threw it in a hidden library. They weren't at that point restricted through locations, because it was animated. It's oh my god. I am hoping that they change this stuff for the next episode. I mean, this thing was boring and bland. Just boring and bland. Somewhat interesting when they were doing the live action fighting, but that lasted for like less than a minute. Way less than a minute. A few seconds. Gone. Back to our crappy animation again. Seriously, I'm not sure. Did they blow their entire budget on like the first episode? And I won't even say it 2 episodes. It was episode and a half, because that second episode does not count as a full. Speaking of that second episode, this one also has previously on. Which, considering this was 8 minutes and 30 seconds, took a good minute out, so we're at probably about 7 minutes and 30 seconds worth of actual episode. I'm sure someone's going to comment on there the exact time. Actually, no, wait, less than what I said. Probably this is another 6-minute episode, because I almost forgot about credits. I think so another really short one. If you're going to do two-part. Stick this. At first, I thought that was that episode 2 length was just the odd man out. But if they're gonna okay, the next one's clearly different. If they're gonna be doing a couple of these that are this long, just throw this 5 minutes extra segment onto the other episode, onto Mortal Kombat Legacy Episode 4. Just throw it on and reduce the episode count. I beg of you. Because then I could have got all this done in one shot and be just done with it. Ugh. I forget who's going next week because I got so angry there. And I have to keep it somewhat down because there's one or two people sleeping, or else I'd be probably shouting a little bit louder. But, oh my dear lord, this series is going downhill fast. I do like downhill fast and still not going anywhere. Because at the very end of this episode, Shao Kahn starts talking about now we have to prepare for the merger of Outrealm, implying the tournament, which we thought was already well underway because we saw Shao Kahn in episode 3. Not Shao Kahn, Shang Tsung in episode 3. I don't know. We're building up to a tournament. I'm not even at this point sure we're going to see the tournament. See an actual plot progress. Here I was thinking that by this time, they would have... Johnny Cage would have met Jax and Sonya, or at least Sonya, and they get on a boat. They go to basically following somewhat of the plot of the Mortal Kombat movie, but with a more hyper-real style to it. Instead, we get crap like this. I better see something different next episode. That's all I can say. And you know what? Why even concentrate on Kitana and Melina that closely if you are going to be putting Kung Lao and Liu Kang later? Kitana is so tied in with Liu Kang that you can keep her as a background character. Of course, this series doesn't even have background characters because, once again, they don't have more than 3 people ever in one scene. Really. Ugh. You figure you could get 1 or 2 fans that'll stand in the background dressed up as somebody, dressed up as a guard. That's too much. I am just rambling now, and there's literally not a whole lot to add to this. The series is looking bad, but you know what? I will still keep on watching. We might, maybe they've realized their mistake after they made this too, and are fixing stuff up. And the next one will at least go back to hell, I take the Johnny Cage one again, or hopefully back to the quality they had with Jax and Sonya in episodes 1 and 2. Things were looking great then. Now it's just shit. Signing off.